Hi, today I'm going to make a beautiful Brie and caramelized red onion tart. This is a brand new dish that I've created and I'm using the Puhoi Valley double cream Brie. It's an award-winning cheese. It's got fantastic creaminess and the double cream gives it extra richness, which will go beautifully with these red onions. This is a great dish because it's vegetarian and it's perfect to take away on a picnic. You can either make individual ones or a nice large one to share. For this dish, you're going to need, for the tart paste, you'll need 1.5 cups of flour, half a cup of butter, and 6 tablespoons of iced water. For the caramelized red onions, you'll need 2 red onions, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, a tablespoon of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of flaky sea salt, 2 teaspoons of balsamic vinegar, 1 tablespoon of fresh picked thyme leaves, and 1 teaspoon of crushed toasted cumin seeds. Now for the filling, you'll need 3 whole eggs, a cup of milk, a cup of cream, a teaspoon of flaky sea salt, some freshly ground white pepper, and 220 grams of Puhoi Valley double cream Brie. To start off this dish, you're going to need to caramelize the red onions. I'm going to add a little bit of flaky sea salt, and I'm also going to add some soft brown sugar. So while those onions are cooking, the next step is to make a beautiful short crust pastry. You're going to need 1.5 cups of flour. And I'm also going to put in half a cup of diced cold butter. So what we're going to do now is blitz this till it starts to resemble fine breadcrumbs, and it's only going to take about 10, maybe 12 seconds, so it's very, very quick. Now what I'm looking for is sort of fine breadcrumb consistency. So I'm going to tip the pastry, or tip this mix into a bowl. So what I'm doing now is just bringing that dough together and forming it into a bit of a ball so it's ready to wrap in some cling film and put it in the fridge to rest. So I'm just going to check on the caramelized red onions, and what I'm looking for is nice, wilted, soft onions. They've been gently simmering for about 20 minutes. Now to that I'm going to add a little bit of extra flavour. I'm going to add some fresh chopped thyme leaves, a little bit of balsamic vinegar, and some finely ground toasted cumin seed. Just give that a little stir. So we let that cook for another 5 to 10 minutes again on a nice low heat. And while that's gently cooking down, I'm going to start on the pastry. A little bit of flour. The next step is cut out a circle of pastry, a little bit bigger than the tart mould, and place it into the tart. Lift the pastry up and just let it drop down into the mold. Try not to stretch it. The next step is to actually push this part of the dough down into the mold. And that's really one of the great secrets of fantastic French patisserie, is the way that the French carefully line their tartlet molds by making sure the edges are perfectly formed, by making sure the pastry goes into the corners. Then with the back of a small knife, just cut off the excess pastry. And the next step is to allow that to rest. Here it is after half an hour's resting. Now we're going to do the baking blind. Take a piece of greaseproof paper, pop it into the tart. Then I've got some old chickpeas. Now these are the chickpeas we use at Vinnie's for all our baking. You can use rice, chickpeas or lentils, but anything just to weight the pastry down while it's baking. They just get tipped into the tart, and that is ready to go into the oven to be baked at 200 degrees to set the outside and to colour up the pastry. So there's the tart mould ready to go. So we're going to fill that with the caramelised red onion and the Puhoi Valley double cream Brie. So for each tart you're going to need to dice up some lovely chunky pieces of Brie. We're going to add the caramelised onions. And then, of course, we need, to finish this off, some custardy type mix to serve with that. So what I've prepared here is a very simple mix called a Royale mix, and that is using whole eggs, milk and cream, and a little bit of salt. So we just spoon in that Royale mix on top of the onions, and that's going into the oven to cook at 180 degrees just until the custard sets. It'll take about 15 to 20 minutes max. So here's the hot little onion and brie tart. What we need to do is carefully lift that up, very carefully. There it is, ready to go. Pop it down, and you have the double cream brie Puhoi Valley and red onion caramelized tart with a lovely walnut and tomato salad. Now, if you'd like the recipe for this dish, all you need to do is go to www.foodtv.co.nz, or you can also go to puhoivalley.co.nz for this delicious recipe, which is so easy to do and perfect for a picnic or if you're entertaining at home.